So, this is how society appears to be politically organized from the narratives of the Panchatantra. And the objective of the Panchatantra is to teach and motivate young boys to grow up and become swamis. That is, not necessarily kings, but leaders or sustainers of society by creating a household that gives refuge to their family, their clan brethren, and people of other jatis who may seek refuge with them. So, in the second Tantra, Mitra Prapti or the acquisition of friends, we have a verse which describes the banyan tree. The deer sleep in its shade, birds nest in its canopy, insects live in its hollows, monkeys take refuge on its branches, bees enjoy its flowers. Every part of its body nurtures and protects some group of animals. And that is the metaphor for an ideal Swami. The Swami Dharma is to protect and nurture the Bhrityas, and the Bhritya Dharma is to respect and obey the Master. And this is how power and responsibility is distributed in society. Now, there is nothing uniquely Indian about this system. It is a very natural ordering of human beings, and one is likely to find similar kind of structures in other cultures as well. The Romans, for example, had the patron-client relations, or in medieval Europe, you have the lord-serf relations, and so on. Now, as a modern people, we tend to be very critical of this political setup. We call it feudal, patriarchal, which of course it was, but we use these words to mean that it was oppressive, unjust, and so on. And for sure, it would have been oppressive from time to time, but that is not necessarily true. That is, it is not right to say that just because it was feudal, patriarchal, characterized by hierarchical Swami Bhritya relations, so it must have been necessarily oppressive. And that is what we learn from the Panchatantra, that this political world was based on the idea that if the Swami follows the Swami Dharma of protecting and nurturing the Bhrityas, and if the Bhrityas follow the Bhritya Dharma of respecting and obeying the Swami, then the outcome would be a decent society. On the other hand, the Panchatantra also explains how the Bhritya should protect themselves against a Swami who may exploit them, and the Swami needs likewise to guard himself against Bhrityas who may deceive or conspire against him. So when you're reading the Panchatantra, you need to pay attention to how it is addressing the core political issue of its time, which is how to make the network of Swami Bhritya relations work for the good of all. In the modern political setup, this hierarchical network of Swami Bhritya relations has been replaced by the modern state, that is the only Swami, and all the citizens are equally its Bhrityas. There is no hierarchy, at least ideally speaking. So you may ask, why study the Panchatantra today? And the answer is precisely that while the current political setup is modern and derived entirely from European liberal thought, the common Indian people have in spirit descended from the kind of world found in the Panchatantra. And so, a great challenge before all of you as students of political science is, how are you going to bring into harmony the Indian state, which is founded on one kind of political idea, to the Indian people who have historically lived by a different kind of political idea? And for that, you need to understand what kind of politics was in practice in pre modern India. And that is where books like the Panchatantra will help you